Welcome to the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex. We are just about set for some high school baseball, starting a little later than anticipated. Going to be about a 4:25 first pitch as opposed to 4 o'clock. Fort Lee, New Jersey. My name is Tommy Aquilina. Tuning in to the YouTube live stream, the Fort Lee Bridgemen versus Westwood Cardinals Public High School baseball game. This will be the sixth game of the year for both of these teams. Westwood splitting a home and home against Ramsey. Fort Lee sweeping a two-game home and home against Dwight Morrow. So both of these schools have gotten their in-division play started. For Westwood, that's the Big North Patriot Division. For Fort Lee, that's the Big North American Division. Now these teams are each taking a step outside of their divisions to take each other on. The Cardinals entering play 1-1 in division, 2-3 on the season overall. They lost at Ramsey High School 9-8 on April 8th, which would have been 3 days ago. And then 2 days ago on Wednesday, they got a home win against Ramsey by a score of 7-6. So they're looking to make it a winning streak. Fort Lee is on a winning streak. They've won 3 in a row, including those 2 games against Dwight Morrow. Those were on April 7th and April 9th. Hosting Westwood today. And then some back-to-back action. We will be right back here tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. as the Bridgemen take on Memorial High School. Fort Lee wearing their home white uniforms, just about set, meeting on the mound between the infielders and today's starting pitcher. That will be Jack Dorcom, making his first pitching appearance of the season for the Bridgemen. He is the 7th player to pitch this year for head coach Peter Kraljic. Number 3, Jack Dorcom is ready. Catcher is going to be Luke Senator. He's getting himself ready. And Jack Walsh, number 7, is ready, and he takes a ball. 1-0 count on Jack Walsh, the junior shortstop, wearing number 7, leading off and taking outside for a 2-0 count. Dorcom sets and deals a called strike on the outside corner. Walsh nodding as now he's seen one. Also white pants for the Westwood Cardinals. They have black tops with cardinal red numbering and lettering. This is a fly ball into left field. It's going to dunk in for a hit. That will be a leadoff double for Jack Walsh as the ball is thrown in by the left fielder, C.J. Senator. C.J. Senator, the younger brother of Luke Senator, in left for the Bridgemen. Marcus Lee in center. Justin Greenberg in right. Dorcom checks the runner on second, who has himself a pretty healthy lead and deals up and away. That is a ball to Marty Ekmekjian. One the count now on Ekmekjian. The right fielder, batting left-handed, wearing number 12 and taking low and outside for a 2-1 count. Like Walsh, Ekmekjian, a junior, hitting near the top of the Westwood lineup. Dorcom looks back at the runner and deals low. Mentioned it's C.J. Senator, Marcus Lee, Jacob Greenberg left to right. In the infield for Fort Lee, Jeremiah Marrero at third, Christopher Kim at short, Stephen Kim at second, Nico Sango at first. And I mentioned Luke Senator, who throws to second base trying to get the runner, did not get the runner, and Lee backed up. So no harm, no foul there for the Bridgemen, but that was ball 4 to Ekmekjian, so a couple on with nobody out for the Cardinals, here to start things off on a gloomy Friday afternoon. Number 2, the third baseman, and number 3 hitter is Joe Ceratelli, another junior for the Cardinals. He is showing bunt, hitting with 2 on and nobody out. Pulls the bunt back and takes a strike. 0-1 the count on Ceratelli. Pitch is also low. That was a ball, so now a 1-1 count on Ceratelli. Another junior awaits on deck. That's Charles Sarlo. That pitch was cut on and missed. It looks like he did not foul that pitch off. So it will be a strike. It's a 1-2 count, but both runners are able to advance on what'll be scored a wild pitch by Dorcom. First inning, so Pete Kraljic keeps his infielders playing at their normal depth. Runners on second and third with nobody out. This one is lined on a couple hops to second base. It gets by Stephen Kim. 1 run scores. Ekmekjian will stay at third. That's probably going to be an E4 there on Stephen Kim. Ceratelli will get the RBI, and it's 1-0 Westwood. So a double for Walsh, a walk for Ekmekjian, a wild pitch allows the runners to advance, and then an E4 allows Ceratelli to reach and Walsh to score. Now we have the aforementioned catcher, Charles Sarlo, the cleanup hitter. Down in the count 0-1, and now down in the count 0-2, and that was a foul ball, so nowhere for Ceratelli to go. You figure he would like to get himself in scoring position. Right now, it's runners on the corners with nobody out, 1 run already in for Westwood. Little check swing, grounder to second, flip to second for 1, on to first, double play. A run does score, no RBI there for Sarlo, and there are now 2 gone with nobody out and a 2-0 lead for the Cardinals. Stephen Kim making up for his error. He gets the assist. And then Christopher Kim at shortstop also gets an assist. Nico Sango with a putout. 4-6-3 double play. Now it's Jack Tercina swinging and missing. Tercina, a sophomore, wearing number 22, batting left-handed. He is the pitcher today for Westwood, so his teammates have given him a 2-0 lead. Now he's going to try to help himself out against his pitching counterpart. Jack Dorcom for the Bridgemen, Tercina for the Cardinals, and Tercina grounds it to second. Stephen Kim handles this one with no problem, and that'll do it for the top half of the first inning. 2-0 Westwood, with the Bridgemen coming to bat for the first time. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Westwood Cardinals gearing up for their first defensive inning of the afternoon. As mentioned, it is the sophomore left-hander Jack Tercina on the mound for Nick Urbanovich's squad. 2-3 on the season. 1-2 out of the Big North Patriot division. So looking to even up both of those records. Looking at the defense behind Tercina, well, I guess in front of him is Charles Sarlo. He will be doing the catching duties. Then it's going to be Saratelli at third, Walsh at short, Connor Stewart at second base, and Matt Terwilliger at first base. And then in the outfield, left to right, it's going to be Nick Klein, number 13, Gabe Arcieri, number 23, and Marty Ekmekjian, number 12, in right field. So that's the defense for the Cardinals, wearing their black uniform tops, white pants, and red numbering and lettering. Red, black, and white, the Westwood colors. Orange, black, and white, the Fort Lee colors. And Stephen Kim steps to the plate for the Bridgemen. And he swings at the first pitch and misses it. So we're underway here in the bottom of the first inning. 2-0 Westwood. And an 0-1 count on Stephen Kim. Looks like Tercina has a nice delivery there for himself, easily repeatable. Deals a ball there, so it's a 1-1 count. And the sophomore lefty working quickly. That pitch is fouled off by Stephen Kim, who has gotten off to a fantastic offensive start this year, hitting .571. And he's also walked 6 times, so he's been on base nearly every time up. 6 runs batted in, 9 runs scored on the season. We're only 5 games in, and he takes a pitch inside. Count levels off at 2-2. Stephen Kim, Luke Senator, Chris Kim for the Bridgemen. Leading things off, if anybody gets on, it'll be Jacob Greenberg. He's cleaning up today. This one is lined on a hop. Diving attempt by the shortstop. Play could not be made. Really good try there by Walsh. He actually did get a glove on it, but the ball popped out of his glove. That'll be a leadoff single for Stephen Kim. Real good try there by Walsh. Turf field, also wet conditions. It's not raining right now, but it has been drizzling on and off today, so not the perfect fielding conditions. Gray clouds, or gray sky, not too many clouds in the sky, so fly balls should not be too difficult to work with. So Stephen Kim on first, and that'll bring up Luke Senator hitting out of the 2-hole, and the elder Senator brother takes low. His younger brother CJ is in left field and batting 5th. Luke enters play today, hitting .385 on the season, according to NJ.com. 0 home runs, 3 runs batted in, 2 stolen bases. Fouls that pitch off the top of the cage, 1-1 count. Tercina with a throw over. Obviously the built-in advantage in terms of pickoffs or even just checking on the runner as a left-handed pitcher. So you want to be careful here if you're Stephen Kim. You don't want to give Westwood any outs, especially not with a multi-run deficit early. That pitch is a called strike. So a 1-2 count on the Fort Lee catcher. Grounded towards the hole, and it's going to get through the hole into right field. Base hit for Luke Senator. Stephen Kim will hold at second base. And just like Westwood, the Bridgemen have a couple batters on to lead off the first inning. That'll bring up number 17, Christopher Kim. He has been maybe Fort Lee's best hitter so far this year. A .353 batting average, a ridiculous .706 slugging percentage. That's total bases divided by the number of at-bats. He has the only home run of the year for the Bridgemen. And he takes upstairs. Chris Kim leads the team with 7 runs batted in, and he's got one more runner in scoring position right now. 2-0 Westwood, but a couple runners on and nobody out for the Bridgemen. Pitch is a little high. .2-0 count now on Chris Kim, playing shortstop and batting third for Fort Lee. As mentioned, Jacob Greenberg is on deck. Tercina takes a peek at Stephen Kim and deals inside to Chris Kim. 3-0 count. Let's see if head coach Peter Kraljic gives his 3-hitter the green light here on 3-0. Very early in the game, you are trailing, but this is also arguably your biggest power threat. Looks like he was taking all the way. That pitch didn't get a lot of the zone, but it got some of it. 3-1. And that one is high, says the umpire, so that's ball 4. And with nobody out, the Bridgemen have loaded the bases for their right fielder today. That is the right-handed hitting Jacob Greenberg. Number 11 will step to the plate with a 2-run deficit and ducks on the pond. Fouls the first pitch off the cage. Aggressive play for Greenberg. Hitting .353 on the season. No home runs, 5 runs batted in. He actually threw a 6-inning no-hitter in Fort Lee's first game against Dwight Morrow. That was a 10-0 win for the Bridgemen. It was a mercy rule, so it only went 6 innings rather than 7. Wound up being a 10-0 6-inning no-hitter for Greenberg, so congratulations to him. Playing right field, as I mentioned, in the cleanup spot today. That's a ball. It gets by Sarlo, but again, with the cage back there, not really anywhere for the runner to go. So Stephen Kim stays at third. He's on third. Luke Senator on second. Chris Kim on first. And as the umpire cleans off home plate, it is a 1-1 count to Greenberg. Tercina in trouble early. Both of these teams have played a lot of high-scoring games. Off the end of the bat, foul, so a 1-2 count now on Greenberg. Mentioned a 10-0 win for Fort Lee against Dwight Morrow, then a 12-7 win a couple days ago. Actually, in each game during this 3-game winning streak, the Bridgemen have scored double-digit runs. Before that, it was a 15-4 drubbing of Hoboken. Lined past the first baseman on a few hops. The second baseman gets it. It's a wild throw. Greenberg will reach. A second run will score. Chris Kim will head to third. And that throw from Connor Stewart at second base, I think, went into the Westwood dugout. So let's do some bookkeeping here. We're going to say an RBI single for Greenberg, and then an E4 allowing... No, he's going back to second. Okay, so the E4, it looks like, will allow that second run to score. And we're going to have a 2-2 game here. Okay, so we do have a 2-2 game. Stephen Kim and Luke Senator scored. Chris Kim is now on third. Greenberg does get to go to second base on the throw. So 1 RBI for Greenberg, and then the error allows one other run to score. That ties the game at 2. And now 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out. For the Fort Lee number 5 hitter, that's CJ Senator, and he fouls a pitch off. 2 runs in, still nobody out for the Bridgemen. And now 2 runners in scoring position for CJ Senator, hitting .235 on the year. No home runs, but he does have 1 triple already. And now he's got himself in an 0-2 count. Tercina deals low. Senator did not chase. 5 RBI on the season for CJ Senator. Potentially a couple more out there for him. And it's been a rough start to this one for Connor Stewart, chasing slow rollers all over that side of the infield. CJ Senator lofts this one to left. It's going to dunk in for a base hit. Greenberg, right behind Chris Kim. He scores. Sliding into second is CJ Senator, and he is in there with a double. 4-2 lead for Fort Lee, 2 RBI, and a double for CJ Senator. Member of the Westwood coaching staff gets an explainer from the umpire. It is going to be a 2-run double for CJ Senator. Last time I did a game, I did the Hoboken game here, a 3-run triple for the younger Senator brother. In scoring position once again. Fort Lee already with a 2-run lead now. Still nobody out. And Jack Dorcom will look to help himself out. Fort Lee's pitcher, often playing third base. Making the start on the mound today. Already has a 2-run lead. A chance to drive in Senator and help himself out even further. Swings at the first pitch, into left field. It gets past the left fielder. It's going to roll to the fence. Lots of bases for Dorcom. He will hold up at second base after a 2-run double by CJ Senator. It's an RBI double for Jack Dorcom, and it's 5-2 Bridgemen. Five runs in before an out is recorded. And the 7th batter of the inning will be first baseman Nico Sango. He takes high. Nick Urbanovich has brought his infielders in. The middle infielders are toying with the runner at second base. Corner infielders, they're in about halfway. Tercina will be dealing a 1-0 pitch to Sango. Lined into left field. That's a base hit. Dorcom will hold at third as Nick Klein gets that one in quickly. Runners on the corners now for Fort Lee. Still nobody out. It's a hit parade for the Bridgemen here in the first inning. aided by that E4, but again, that was an RBI infield single for Greenberg. He advanced and an extra run scored on the error. Now it's going to be third baseman Jeremiah Marrero hitting eighth. Still nobody out for Fort Lee. Marrero shows bunt, drops a bunt. Oh, that's a good one. They go home with it, and he's out. Bunted up the first baseline. Nice play there by Tercino. He got it to the catcher Sarlo, and Dorcom is tagged out. So that's a fielder's choice that will allow Marrero to reach. Score that 1-2. And there is finally one out for Westwood, but they're not out of the woods just yet. Sango advanced to second. The fielder's choice allows Marrero to reach. So 2 on, 1 out, and center fielder Marcus Lee at the dish for Fort Lee. The Bridgemen have batted around, and Lee takes a pitch low. Marcus Lee hitting .375 on the season, a great number 9 hitter for Pete Kraljic. Gets on base, also has 6 stolen bases, does a really good job of giving the Bridgemen a second leadoff hitter. Throw to second! Got him! Nico Sango is picked off by Tercina. Mentioned all the benefits that come with being a left-handed pitcher. Tercina kept an eye on the runner at second base, whirled around, and threw him out. Nice play there by the pitcher. Couple nice defensive plays by Tercina, actually. The assist on the bunt, went home with it, got a crucial out, kept it a 3-run game. There, he guns down the lead runner, now just a runner on first with 2 out. And that pitch catches the outside corner. So now a 1-2 count on Marcus Lee. 5 runs is obviously not ideal, but if Westwood gets out of it here, they could be in a much worse situation. Throw over to first, and Marrero gets back. You could certainly be in a worse position after 1 inning than being down 3. Still a 1-2 count on Fort Lee's number 9 batter. Marcus Lee sends this one into right. That is a fair ball. It'll be a double for Marcus Lee. Marrero goes to third. Third double of the first inning for the Fort Lee Bridgemen. Marcus Lee went the other way with it. It is a game of inches. That one was just barely fair. And so, like I said, Fort Lee has batted around. Stephen Kim will step to the plate for a second time here in the first inning, and he might not be facing Tercina. He will not be facing Tercina. I noticed a right-hander warming up in what we'll call the bullpen. So I'm going to step aside really quickly. We will have a new pitcher still in the top of the first inning when we return. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex. We are still in the bottom of the first inning. 2 outs, runners on second and third. The Bridgemen have a 5-2 lead on the Westwood Cardinals, and we have a new pitcher. It's number 33, the right-hander, Cooper Smith, replacing Jack Tercina, who simply didn't have it today. Made a couple nice defensive plays to help himself out a little bit, but he leaves with his team down 5-2. I don't believe all of those runs are earned. I'll have to go back and check. The 2 runners on base are his responsibility, and he gives way to the right-handed senior. Smith deals high and tight. Stephen Kim backs out. It's a 2-0 count. He doubled to lead off this game. No, I lied. He singled to lead off this game. And then Luke Senator also singled, and the Bridgemen were off to the races. Sarlo giving signs from behind the plate to his pitcher. Cooper Smith probably was not expecting to come in, even if he knew he'd be the first guy out of the bullpen. Probably wasn't expecting to pitch in the first inning, but Tercina was only able to record 2 outs. And now Sarlo's going to go talk to his pitcher, who's having a hard time finding the zone. Kim and Senator singled. Chris Kim walked. The bases were loaded with nobody out. Jacob Greenberg reached on an RBI infield single, but then a throwing error by second baseman Connor Stewart allowed another run to score and the runners to advance. CJ Senator with a 2-run double. Jack Dorcom with an RBI double. And that's the 5 runs for Fort Lee. Dorcom was retired at home on a fielder's choice. Jeremiah Marrero dropped a bunt. Dorcom was gotten out at home plate, 1-2. Nico Sango with a single, but he was picked off. On a 3-1 pitch, Stephen Kim lofts this one to shallow center. The catch is made by Gabe Arcieri, and that will do it. So we're almost an hour past what was supposed to be the first pitch time here in Fort Lee, and we're through 1 inning. The Bridgemen 5, the Cardinals 2. Want to thank our proud Fort Lee Bridgemen Athletics sponsors for their continued support all year long. I will be right back with the second inning. Well, that was a wacky one in the first inning. Want to thank you so much for tuning in here on a cloudy Friday afternoon. School week is done. Fort Lee Bridgemen get to let out their stresses and frustrations, and they did that in the top of the first inning. 6 hits, 3 of them going for extra bases, and 5 runs in, and the Bridgemen lead the Cardinals of Westwood by a score of 5-2. Jack Dorcom out for his second inning of work. Already gone deeper into the game as a pitcher than Tercina did. Tercina also batting in the 5th spot. This is the number 6 hitter, Gabe Arcieri, and that's Marcus Lee sliding in for a great grab in center field. Very nicely done by Marcus Lee, with a little bit of the dramatic flair. One pitch, one out. Arcieri is retired, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Nick Klein. A sophomore, listed as an infielder and pitcher on NJ.com, but playing left field today for Nick Urbanovich. Takes a strike there, and the count goes to 1-1. That's a little high, so it'll be a 2-1 count. After a great bottom of the first inning, if you're Dorkham, you really want to get out of here with a quick second inning, and he's on his way. Grounded to short. Chris Kim. Play cannot be made. Nico Sango, unable to keep it in his glove, did a good job keeping a foot on the base, tried to pick up the ball while staying on the base before the runner got there, was unable to. So a low throw, that'll be an E6, allowing Klein to reach. So 1 on, 1 out, and that'll bring up the first baseman, number 25, Matt Terwilliger. A freshman in the starting lineup for Westwood today. And Terwilliger ahead in the count 1-0. Runner not going, pitches low, and it's a 2-0 count. Westwood obviously still in this one, and plenty of time to go. So let's see if they can answer Fort Lee's 5-run first inning. Called strike there, so a 2-1 count on Terwilliger. The number 9 batter and second baseman Connor Stewart is on deck. Shot into right field, handled by Jacob Greenberg, and there's 2 away. So a fly out to the center fielder, a fly out to the right fielder, and Connor Stewart, the number 9 batter, will hit here in the second inning. Fort Lee sent 10 batters to the plate in the first inning. This is the Westwood 9 batter getting his first plate appearance of the afternoon. And he grounds the first pitch foul. Connor Stewart, a senior, number 1, playing second base today. He also pitches for Westwood. Runner going, and they got him. Tried a little bit of a delayed or sort of an early steal there, and it did not work out. Klein is picked off by the Bridgemen, and so Stewart will have to wait for the third inning for his first plate appearance of the afternoon. Meanwhile, it'll be Fort Lee sending up their second batter for a second time today in the bottom of the second inning. Don't go anywhere, folks. 5-2 Fort Lee after 1.5. We're back at the Sugarman Sport Complex. I'm Tommy Aquilina. You are tuning in to see Fort Lee currently lead Westwood 5-2. We head to the bottom of the second inning. Cooper Smith still on the mound after finishing the bottom of the first. For the Cardinals, he'll have Luke Senator, Chris Kim, and Jacob Greenberg. Luke Senator swinging at the first pitch, lofting one high in the air. It's a pop-up, and it is a pop out to the shortstop, Jack Walsh. One away. Luke Senator now 1 for 2 on the day, and that'll bring up Chris Kim. He walked and scored his first time up. Now 5 runs scored this year for Chris Kim. Keep in mind, this is only Fort Lee's 6th game of the year. Each of the first 5 batters Fort Lee sent to the plate in the first inning scored, giving them a 5-2 advantage as Kim takes a strike. 1-1 the count, with Cooper Smith on the mound. Swing and lofted into left center. Nice running play is made by Nick Klein. Again, Klein listed as an infielder and pitcher on NJ.com. Makes a nice play running in there. So 2 quick outs for Cooper Smith, and that'll bring up Greenberg. RBI infield single, reached himself on an error and came around to score, and he swings at the first pitch. This one is caught by Klein. Really nice sliding grab by the left fielder. He's been tested a lot so far today, and he took an extra base hit away from Jacob Greenberg there. Well, that was a quick bottom of the second inning. We'll head to the top of the third. Still 5-2 Fort Lee. And so we are rolling right along. We head to the top of the third inning. Number 3, Jack Dorcom on the mound, still working with a 3-run lead. These teams combined for 7 runs in the first and nothing in the second. So 5-2 Fort Lee. Now Connor Stewart will get his first plate appearance of the day officially. Swings at the first pitch, and Marrero handles it. I thought he caught that on the fly. He did not. Caught it on a hop, went down to one knee. Or maybe caught it, had it like not, didn't catch it on the fly, but caught it and dropped it. Either way, it's a 5-3 play. Stewart is retired, and we go back to the top of the Westwood order. And then not the best throw ever from Marrero. Good job by Nico Sango at first base, making the grab, finding the base before the runner did. Now an 0-1 count on Jack Walsh, the leadoff man and shortstop for Westwood. Takes inside, 1-1 count. Walsh led off with a double. He would come around to score, but honestly, since that, the Westwood offense has not done much against Jack Dorcom. They've been aided along by an error, but Klein allowed himself to get picked off on a steal attempt. And actually, the Cardinals do not have a hit since Walsh's double. It's a 2-2 count, and Dorcom deals low. So the count will go full on Jack Walsh with Marty Ekmekjian on deck. Grounded down the third baseline. That is a fair ball. CJ Senator throws to second. Throw is a little offline. That will be a second double of the game for Walsh. So here is Ekmekjian with one out. Walsh doubled and scored. Ekmekjian walked and scored in the first. And that's a called strike on the outside corner. Oh, 1 the count on the junior right fielder, and that one was too far outside. 1-1 the count. So the first 5 batters for Fort Lee scored, nothing since. The first 2 batters for Westwood reached and scored, nothing since. But Ekmekjian is trying to change that. He takes low, so it is a 2-1 count with a runner on second and 1 away. Dorcom steps off, now ready to go. His shortstop, Chris Kim, is trying to keep Walsh close. And another step off. The 2-1 pitch. Low, gets away from Senator, but not far enough away for Walsh to go anywhere. Also, you're trailing by multiple runs. You've already made an out on the bases. You got to be really careful here if you're the Cardinals. Can't be giving away any outs. Inside, ball 4. So just like in the first inning, here in the third inning, Walsh has doubled and Ekmekjian has walked. There is one away here in the third as Joe Ceratelli steps to the plate for the first time today. He's 0 for 1, but he does have the only run batted in of the afternoon so far for Westwood. And he takes low. Dorcom's 1-0. Little outside. Fouls that one off his foot. Put his A swing on that one on a 2-0 count. And now he's going to have to take a quick trip around the batter's box. That does not feel good, especially on a cold day like today. Your body really feels it when you foul a ball off yourself, get hit by a ball, or even, honestly, it's cold enough out that if one of these kids kind of gets jammed and fists one off the hands, that would also really hurt. That would really make the fingers and hands tingle. It looks like Ceratelli is going to be okay. He's really being given some time here after fouling that 2-0 pitch off his left foot. I actually didn't say, it might have been more of the ankle area or his actual foot. In any event, he's going to take one more deep breath and get back in there. It's a 2-1 count, 2 on, 1 out, and Dorcom deals, grounded to second. Stephen Kim to Chris Kim to Nico Sango for the double play. Second 4-6-3 double play of the afternoon for the Bridgemen, and Dorcom is through 3. 5-2 Fort Lee after 2.5. We will be right back. We are back here for the bottom of the third inning. Fort Lee 5, Westwood 2 after 1 inning, and that is still the score, as after a choppy start to this game, we've been rolling right along. That one is tapped foul by the left fielder today for Fort Lee, CJ Senator. A 2-run double for CJ in the first inning. So he is 1 for 1. He now has 7 RBI on the season, and he fouls this one off the top of the cage. So it's an 0-2 count. Cooper Smith still out there for the Cardinals. Their second pitcher of the afternoon deals, and we will have to do another 0-2 pitch. Smith replaced Jack Tercina, the number 5 hitter for the Cardinals. He made a couple nice defensive plays, but he didn't have it today. 2/3 of an inning, gives up 7 runs. I don't believe they're all earned, but 7 runs allowed, and he gave up 6 hits. Smith deals a little bit low. Senator eyeballs that one, and it's a 1-2 count. Smith has gotten 4 outs so far for Westwood. The senior righty deals, and this one is lofted into left. Nick Klein will handle that, and there is 1 away. That is a 3rd straight flyout to left field for the Bridgemen. Chris Kim, Jacob Greenberg, and CJ Senator. Really nice play on one of those by Klein. Now it's Dorcom, having himself a decent start to the day. He's gotten through 3 innings on the mound, given up 2 runs, I believe only one of them earned, and he's also 1 for 1 with an RBI double. And now he's ahead in the count 1-0. Nobody on, 1 out for the Bridgemen as they look to expand upon their 3-run lead. On a hop, Walsh. He handles, he throws. Play cannot be made. That's got to be an E6 on Walsh. He had a hard time getting a handle on it. And then that really wasn't a great throw either. If it was a great throw, I'm not positive they would have gotten Dorcom. But we're going to call that an E6. Second error of the day committed by Westwood. 1 by each of their middle infielders. And Dorcom is now on first with 1 away, and taking a called strike is number 7, Nico Sango. He singled in the first, but was then picked off. Takes low here. 1-1 count. Dorcom doesn't go anywhere. Sango came into the day hitting .250. That batting average went up with his single in the first, but then, like I said, he didn't go anywhere because he was picked off. Actually, he was on second base. Tercina spun around and picked him off. 1-1 count. 1-2 count. Smith gets the sign, checks on the runner, and deals. Sango just got a piece to stay alive. Fort Lee up 5-2, looking to extend their winning streak to 4. They are 4-1 on the season. They've won 3 in a row over Hoboken and Dwight Morrow, looking to make it 4 in a row and then host Memorial tomorrow morning. Westwood 2-3 on the year, looking to avoid a losing streak. And we have... Was that a foul ball? No, I think it was a strike. I believe they're going to say that was a strikeout and a wild pitch. The throw to second was not in time. Dorcom slid in there safely. The Westwood coaching staff wants an explanation here. If it's a strikeout, but the catcher doesn't hold on to the ball, the batter is allowed to run to first base. Sango has gone back to the dugout. Dorcom is still standing on second base. So it looks like we're going to say that was a strikeout, with Sango not reaching. But I guess there was a wild pitch that allowed Dorcom to advance. Play has not resumed, but it looks like that's what we're going with. And I think that is what we're going with. So we have a strikeout for Sango. He's 1 for 2 today. Dorcom is taking a lead off second base. So there is a runner in scoring position for the Bridgemen. Marrero at the plate. He pops this one up. And Walsh handles it. So I guess really no harm, no foul there for Westwood. We're through 3 full innings. Fort Lee, 5. Westwood, 2. Don't go anywhere. Tommy Aquilina back here with you for the top of the 4th inning at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Jack Dorcom still on the mound for the Bridgemen, and he deals a called strike. Pitching to Charles Sarlo right now. Inning-ending double play in the 3rd. Sarlo also banged into a double play his first time up, and this time he gets plunked on the foot, it looks like. So Dorcom has now hit a batter. He's also walked 2. Actually, he's walked the same batter twice. That's Ekmekjian. He has both of the Cardinals' walks. Walsh has both of their hits. And now Sarlo reaches on a hit by pitch. 1 on, nobody out. That will bring up Tarsina. As a pitcher, he came out of the game super early, but still in there as the DH, with Cooper Smith now on the mound. Tarsina grounded out to second his first time up, and he's going to do so again here. 4, 6, 3, double play. 3rd one of the afternoon. What do they say? A double play is a pitcher's best friend? Definitely the case today for Dorcom. And really good infield defense being played by Stephen Kim and Chris Kim especially. That'll bring up Gabe Arcieri. Flied out to center field his first time up and takes a strike right down the middle this time. Tapped. Foul up the third baseline. Marrero and Luke Senator gave it a go. But the ball stays foul. 0-2 hole now that Arcieri finds himself in. Dorcom looking to get through 4. Pitches high, and Arcieri checked his swing. 1-2 count. Dorcom still looking for that first strikeout. Also, if he gets through this inning, 4 innings in a 7-run game, he'd be eligible for the win. This one is tapped to third. Marrero on a couple hops. Nice strong throw, picked by Sango. Doesn't look like it was in time. That'll be an infield single for Gabe Arcieri. Good try by Marrero and by Sango, but not good enough. So a 2-out single, and that'll bring up left fielder Nick Klein. Reached on an error, but was then picked off his first time up. Dorcom from the stretch deals low. That one almost felt like a quick pitch. And Dorcom is working quickly. Another foul ball off the batter. Klein actually drops on that one. He's got a hitch in his giddy-up. And once again, a Westwood batter will be given some time to compose himself. If you're Dorcom, this next pitch should also be way inside. Not like way inside, but it should be in on the hands of Klein. Make him do the same thing again. Nice dance moves there by C.J. Senator in left field. Caught that on the camera. Now it looks like Klein is okay, so he's going to get ready to step back in there. It's a 1-1 count. 2 out, 1 on. And Westwood still trailing by 3. Grounded to short. Stephen Kim, or Chris Kim rather, gets there. The long throw, got him. Jack Dorcom is through 4. He's in line for the win. We are halfway through this one. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 4th inning. Tommy Aquilina all set to go here for the bottom of the 4th inning. Cooper Smith deals a swinging strike to Marcus Lee. 0-1 pitch is low and outside. Marcus Lee doubled his first time up. Entered the day hitting .375. 1 for 1 now today. Here in the 6th game of the year for the Bridgemen, and that's a clean single up the middle. Season starting to get going a little bit here. Early season struggles are turning into just slumps. Hot starts are turning into good seasons as things start to take shape a little bit here. Fort Lee looking to improve to 5-1 on the year. They've won 3 in a row. And so with Marcus Lee on first base, that'll send things back to the top of the order. And Stephen Kim. We have a throw over. Kim is 1 for 2 with a run scored. Each of the first 5 batters for Fort Lee reached and scored in the first. Since then, not a whole lot. Still a 5-2 lead, and now a 1-0 count on the Bridgemen second baseman. Swing and a miss. One count now. And a throw over for the senior Smith. Came on to relieve Tercina in the first, got the last out of that inning, got through the second, got through the third, now working in the fourth as Marcus Lee is going, but that's a foul ball. So he will have to go back, and it'll be a 1-2 count. Smith has done a great job keeping the Cardinals in this one, giving their offense time to claw their way. I mean, it's only a 3-run game, not like they're out of it. But their offense has been able to do very little against Jack Dorcom. This one is shot to right center. It's going to drop for a base hit. Handled there by Arcieri on a hop. Could have been big trouble if that one got by him, but it doesn't, so it is first and second for the Bridgemen with nobody out. Wonder if we'll see a bunt attempt here with Luke Senator stepping to the plate. You have your 3 and 4 hitters coming up next. There's nobody out. You have a lead, but not a big one. He does show bunt. He does drop a bunt. That's a beautiful bunt, and it's going to be a base hit. Maybe hit it a little harder than he would have liked, but that was just about a perfect bunt. It forced Saratelli to come in and get it, and everybody is safe. So that's the second single of the day for Luke Senator, and the bases are loaded with nobody out for Chris Kim, who leads, now tied with CJ Senator, leads the team with 7 RBI. Nowhere to put him as he takes low. A little bit of a lazy cleaning off of home plate there by the umpire. 1-0 count. Chris Kim taps this one to short. They go to third to get the lead runner. That's a smart play. That'll be a fielder's choice. Score that 6-5. A run does score, and Chris Kim does get an RBI on that one. It's 6-2 Bridgemen. So Stephen Kim is out. Marcus Lee scores. Runners on first and second now with 1 out. And a big swing and a miss by Jacob Greenberg. 0-1 the count on Greenberg. 1 for 2 today with an RBI and a run scored. And he takes low. So that is the first run scored today by Fort Lee off of Cooper Smith. The first 5 were charged to Tercina. Now they've expanded their lead to 4. Looking for more, still just 1 away, and that pitch catches the outside corner. Caught nicely there by Sarlo. Greenberg was not in love with the call. He's down in the count 1-2. And now it's 2-2. Smith shakes off his catcher. Now has the sign he wants, and he deals called strike 3. Greenberg thought it might have been outside. Umpire says it caught at least the outside corner, and so there are 2 away here in the 4th. Still first and second for the Bridgemen, and that will bring up C.J. Senator. Chris Kim has now gone out ahead of him for the team lead with 8 RBI. CJ has 7 after his 2-run double in the first. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored. He lifts this one to right center. Arcieri makes the play, and we are through 4 innings. But the Bridgemen add a run. They're now up 4 after 4. Stick around for the 5th inning to see if Jack Dorcom stays on the mound for the Bridgemen. Tommy Aquilina back here with you for the top half of the 5th inning. It is indeed Jack Dorcom still on the mound for Peter Kraljich's squad. He is pitching to Terwilliger, who takes outside. Matt Terwilliger, listed as an infielder and catcher on NJ.com, playing first base today, the only freshman in the starting lineup for Nick Urbanovich. He's ahead in the count 1-0, and now he's ahead in the count 2-0. These teams did meet last year. They met on May 3rd, 2024. Westwood won that game 8-1. Quite a different story so far today, but plenty of time to go in this one, at least 3 innings. 2-1 count now on the freshman Terwilliger, and he takes upstairs. Terwilliger, Stewart, and then back to the top of the lineup with Walsh. Dorcom's 3-1 pitch. Low. That is the third walk that he has handed out today, and the first one given to someone not named Ekmekjin. 3 hits, 3 walks, and 1 hit by pitch now for Westwood. Didn't score in the second, third, or fourth innings, and they're starting to run out of time here. 3 innings to work with. They trail by 4, as it's been 6 unanswered runs for the Bridgemen, 5 in the first and 1 in the fourth. Connor Stewart is plunked. Dorcom might be starting to run out of gas. He is already in line for the win. He went 4, and he might wind up only going 4+. Meeting on the mound right now. This is Dorcom's first start of the year for the Bridgemen. He's allowed 2 runs in 4+ innings, and again, I believe only 1 run was earned. Jack Walsh is going to be the batter. The Westwood shortstop has doubled both times up. And Dorcom's going to stay in the game. It's been the top of the order that's given him trouble. Walsh is 2 for 2 with a couple doubles and a run. Ekmekjin, a couple walks and a run. Not really much doing for the other Westwood batters. Senator goes to first. Nico Sango wasn't even on the bag. Good job there handling that one. Runners on first and second still. Nobody out, and now a 1-0 count on Walsh. Make it a 2-0 count. That one was a little inside. The 2-0 pitch. Low. I wonder if they green light Walsh here. He's been your hottest hitter today. No green light. Taking all the way, and he takes a strike. Now you're going to see him put his A swing on this one if he gets a pitch like that. 3-1 to Walsh. 2 on, nobody out, and that one is low. That'll load the bases with nobody out for Westwood. And that will do it for Dorcom. He will, in fact, go 4+. And let's see who replaces Dorcom on the mound for the Bridgemen. We are back. Bases loaded. Nobody out. 4-run lead for Fort Lee over Westwood here in the 5th. It's the barber, Paul Bonilla, replacing Jack Dorcom on the mound. And he's going to have to do a high wire act to get out of this jam. Pitch is outside. Bonilla pitching to Marty Ekmekjian. He's walked each of his first 2 times up. Westwood's number 2 hitter takes way outside, 2-0. Jeremiah Marrero remains at third base for Peter Kraljic's squad. Dorcom is out of the game. He is set to lead off next inning. He's now been replaced on the mound by Paul Bonilla. Bonilla's 2-0 pitch is inside. Nowhere to put Ekmekjian. The 3 runners on base are Dorcom's responsibility. So far, he's allowed 2 runs, 1 earned. That pitch cuts the plate in half, 3-1 to Ekmekjian. Called strike on the outside corner. From 3-0 to 3-2. Huge spot in this game. And Paul Bonilla deals. Way upstairs, a 3rd walk today for Ekmekjian. Terwilliger will score, and it's now 6-3 Fort Lee. That'll bring up Saratelli, the number 3 hitter. Bases still loaded, still nobody out. Paul Bonilla deals a called strike. Bonilla working pretty quickly, especially for someone in a jam. Obviously not of his own doing. That pitch is inside, so it's a 1-1 count. Number 20, Paul Bonilla, facing Saratelli, and foul tipped into Luke Senator's glove. 1-2 the count. On the Westwood number 3 hitter, the cleanup batter, Charles Sarlo, is on deck. Oh, wow, how did that not hit him? Pitch wound up going behind Saratelli. So that's a ball, and it's a 2-2 count. Bonilla deals low, maybe working a little too quickly. Already ready to go. It'll be a payoff pitch. Grounded to third. Oh, what a play by Marrero. Steps on third for 1. Goes to first, not in time, but he saved at least 1 run and robbed Saratelli of a hit. Fantastic play by Jeremiah Marrero. Wow. So Sarlo is at the dish now, and he takes low. So because an out was recorded at third base, that's a fielder's choice. So Saratelli remains hitless today. A fielder's choice, he does get the RBI as Connor Stewart scored. And again, we had an out at third base. So there's now runners on first and second with 1 out in a 2-run game. And Sarlo fouled that pitch off, so it is a 1-1 count with 2 on and 1 out. That was a spectacular play by Marrero, keeping that ball from going down the line. Probably saved 2 runs and got an out. This one tapped to Christopher Kim. Sango can't pick it. A run will score, realistically, on what'll be an E6, and it is now a 1-run Fort Lee advantage. I believe that was Ekmekjin who came around to score there. It should be Seratelli on third base, and now Sarlo on first, following the throwing error by Christopher Kim. So runners on the corners, still just one out. And it's now a one-run game. No RBI there for Sarlo because the runner was only on second, and he scored on the error. We have a new batter hitting in Tersina's spot. It's number 17, Gavin Flynn. Umpire making sure everybody's ready to go. Tersina was 0 for 2 and had a terrible day on the mound. Gavin Flynn takes strike one. This is the fifth spot in the order. Gabe Arcieri is on deck. Tersina, a left-handed batter. So Nick Urbanovich not worried about the left-right matchup here as he sends up the right-handed hitting Gavin Flynn. Bonilla deals low. Luke Senator does not throw down to second base. That is a steal for his catching counterpart, Sarlo. No, it's not. That's number 4, David Ismoli, pinch running and stealing a base. So Ismoli on second, runners on second and third with one out, and now a 2-1 count. As this pitch is lofted. Nice play by Marrero. He was playing in, so that one threatened to go over his head, but he's able to make a second standout defensive play here in the 5th inning. And that'll bring up Arcieri. 2 outs now and runners on second and third. Swings at the first pitch, taps it, Bonilla stops it, throws, gets away from Sango. The tying run scored. That E1 will allow the go-ahead run to score. 7-6 Westwood. We can give Arcieri a single and an RBI on that one. He goes to second on the E1. That pitch is a called strike to Nick Klein. And that's a called strike to Nick Klein. 0-2 now. If we're saying it's a single, Arcieri does get an RBI there. Runners going to third. Ball is grounded to third, and Marrero was covering third base. So that one gets by him. That's extremely unfortunate. Marrero would have been right there to field that ground ball, but with the runner going, he went to third base to cover for a potential throw, and so that ground ball by Klein trickled into left field. It's an RBI single. 8-6 Westwood now. So the Westwood offense was basically dead for the 2nd through 4th innings. They've broken through here with 6 runs in the 5th. And now Terwilliger, who started this inning, lines that one foul. Inning started off, innocently enough, a walk by Terwilliger. He came around to score. That made it 6-3. And the Cardinals now have a 2-run advantage. Called strike. bringing the count on Terwilliger to 0-2. 2 outs, runner on first base now for the Cardinals. Grounded to short. On a hop, Chris Kim flips to Stephen Kim for the force out, and so a rough 5th inning mercifully ends for the Bridgemen. We will go to the bottom of the 5th inning, Fort Lee for the second time today, trailing by 2. We want to thank our proud Fort Lee Bridgemen Athletic sponsors for their continued support all throughout this school year with the various sports teams. Want to thank you so much for tuning in, and don't go anywhere. The bottom of the 5th inning is coming right up. Tommy Aquilina back here with you for the bottom of the 5th inning. Fort Lee trailed by 2 after the first half of the 1st inning. They came back with a 5 spot. Now they trail by 2 again. First pitch, grounded to short. Jack Walsh. Low throw, cannot be picked. Jack Dorcom re-entered. He was replaced on the mound by Paul Bonilla. He re-enters the game to bat, and he will reach on the E6. That's actually the second time today that he has reached on an error by Walsh. And so the leadoff man is aboard for the Bridgemen as they are playing from behind for the second time today. Mentioned last inning, Cooper Smith gave his team a chance to get back in this one. 3 1/3 innings, only 1 run allowed. And the Westwood offense came alive in the 5th. They now lead by 2. Smith obviously still out there, and he deals way high to Nico Sango. 1 for 2 today. Swing and a miss, bringing the count to 1-1. Smith working quickly. This one is tapped foul. It'll be a 1-2 count on Sango. Smith in line for the win if Westwood can get through these final 3 innings. That'll help. Called strike 3 on Nico Sango. Second backwards K that Smith has picked up today. Popped up to the shortstop. Walsh handles that one. So that'll bring up Marcus Lee, the number 9 batter for the Bridgemen. Runner on first, now with 2 outs. And he lofts this one into left center. That's going to dunk in for a base hit. Klein does not let it get by him. So runners on first and second with 2 outs for the Bridgemen. Marcus Lee is 3 for 3 today with a double. Two on, two out now for the Bridgemen with the top of the order coming up. We'll start things off with Stephen Kim, who is 2 for 3 himself, and we're going to have a meeting on the mound. It looks like Nick Urbanovich wants to keep Smith out there, at least get the fourth full inning out of him. If he does, that would be a 4 1/3 inning relief performance for Smith. But with 2 outs here in the 5th inning, there are 2 runners on. And again, he's got to deal with Stephen Kim now. Came into the day hitting .571, and he's 2 for 3 so far in this one. Rain starting to fall a little bit. It really hasn't for most of this game. Smith's 1-0 pitch is outside. 2-0 count on Stephen Kim. Luke Senator, who is also 2 for 3 with a run scored today, awaits on deck. Fly ball, right center field. Settling under it and making the play is Ekmekjin. So Cooper Smith, what a job in relief. Comes in with 2 outs in the 1st inning and his team trailing 5-2. He goes 4 1/3 innings and allows just 1 run. Westwood leads this one 8-6 as we head to the 6th inning. Don't go anywhere. We are back at the Sugarman Sport Complex on a gloomy Friday afternoon. Little past 6 o'clock here as the weekend has just begun. Fort Lee trailing Westwood 8-6. Paul Bonilla, the team barber and one of Peter Kraljic's relief pitchers, back out on the mound. 2nd inning of work. It's the first one that he starts. He came in partway through last inning, got all 3 outs, and deals outside to the number 9 batter, Connor Stewart. The 1-0 pitch is low. Bonilla working incredibly quickly. Stewart grounded out to third base his first time up. He was hit by a pitch and scored his second time. And this one, he lofts a soft fly ball into the shallow outfield. Wind playing some tricks on Jacob Greenberg, but he sticks with it and makes the play. That is a fly out to right. And with one away and nobody on, we go to the top of the Westwood lineup for the third time today. Make that the fourth time today. And what a day it's been offensively for Jack Walsh. 2 for 2 with 2 doubles, a walk, and a run scored so far. And he takes low. It has been the top of the Westwood lineup that's done a lot of the damage for them. Walsh, 2 for 2 with a walk and a run. Marty Ekmekjian on deck, 3 walks, an RBI, and 2 runs scored. And by my count, officially no hits for Serratelli, but he does have a couple RBI. Walsh got a piece of that one, so it is a 2-2 count. Bonilla trying to keep things right here. Obviously, Fort Lee has plenty of offense, certainly enough to get 2 runs in the next 2 innings. Lined up the middle for a base hit. Jack Walsh is 3 for 3. A couple doubles and a walk against Dorcom. That was his first time facing Paul Bonilla, and a similar result for Walsh. Been on base all 4 times. That'll bring up Ekmekjian. A bases-loaded walk his last time up, and then he himself came around to score. Lines this one. It gets past Stephen Kim for a base hit. So Walsh is now 3 for 3 with a walk. Ekmekjian is 1 for 1 with 3 walks. 2 on with 1 out for the Cardinals. That'll bring up Serratelli. Reached in the first inning on an error by Stephen Kim. Got credit for an RBI. Banged into a double play his second time up. And then an RBI fielder's choice in that 6-run outburst last inning. So 2 RBI already for Serratelli. Now ahead in the count 1-0, and that pitch is a called strike. 1-1. Runner going. Senator throws to second. Not in time. It's a double steal for the Cardinals. Senator tried to get Ekmekjian at second unsuccessfully, and like I said, that's a double steal. 2 runners in scoring position now for Serratelli, the Westwood number 3 batter. Fort Lee infield comes in as that pitch is low, and the count levels off at 2-2. Bonilla deals just outside. Maybe a little low. We've gotten similar calls today, but not that one. So this is a payoff pitch from Bonilla. And we'll do another one. And we'll do a third one. Walsh on third, Ekmekjian on second. Critical for Fort Lee to keep this one here at 2 runs. That pitch is low. Senator tries to catch Ekmekjian sleeping. Made a low throw. Everyone will stay put. It's a walk for Serratelli, so the bases are loaded with 1 out. And that'll bring up the catcher and cleanup hitter, Charles Sarlo. He is 0 for 2 today, and he's been hit by a pitch. Takes strike 1. Lines that one foul down the first baseline. Pretty good strike there by Sarlo. Obviously, he would like to straighten that one out. He's in an 0-2 hole. Middle infielders at double play depth for the Bridgemen. Bonilla's 0-2. Another shot down the first baseline. Still 0-2. Sarlo and the Cardinals looking for some insurance. Bonilla's 0-2 pitch. Grounded to third. Marrero goes home. They go to first. They do not get the double play, says the infield umpire. So really score that 5-2. It's a fielder's choice. The bases remain loaded. There's now 2 outs. That was Walsh that Marrero threw out at home. Nice play there by the Fort Lee third baseman. He's played a really good third today. Bonilla deals way inside. Remember, the bases are still loaded, and it is still Gavin Flynn hitting in the 5 spot. He pinch hit for Tercina last inning. He is 0 for 1. But now he's ahead in the count, 2-0. And there's nowhere to put Flynn either. Again, the bases remain loaded. Pitch splits the plate, and it's a 2-1 count. Bonilla already ready to go again. The 2-1 pitch. Fouled off. Bonilla 1 strike away from getting out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam. No, I lied. Bases loaded, 1 out jam. Lined. Foul. Down the left field line. The Cardinals are getting some good metal on some of these balls, but they've all been foul. Bonilla still 1 strike away from getting out of here. Called strike 3. The barber cuts him down looking. Bases loaded, 1 out. Bonilla gets out of the jam. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Fort Lee trailing by 2. Welcome back. If you went somewhere, don't know why you would. It's been an exciting one here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Not a lot of scoring in all of the innings. The run scoring has really been condensed. Matter of fact, 5 of the 6 runs for Fort Lee came in the first inning, and for Westwood, they scored 2 in the first and 6 in the 5th, and that's it. 8-6 Westwood. Cooper Smith, a real workman-like effort today. He is still out there. after coming on in relief of Jack Tercina all the way back in the first. Smith has gone 4 1/3, currently in line for the win as the rain starts to fall a little bit harder here in Fort Lee. Smith is facing Luke Senator, the Fort Lee catcher. He's 2 for 3 with a run scored. And he takes inside. Huge strikeout there by Paul Bonilla, getting out of a bases-loaded one-out jam, keeps it a 2-run game. Again, Fort Lee has plenty of offense for a 2-run rally. And maybe it just started. That's a 4-pitch walk to Luke Senator. Fourth time through the order here for the Bridgemen. A lot of them seeing Cooper Smith for a third time, including Chris Kim. Lines this one into left field. That's a base hit for Chris Kim. His first hit of the afternoon, which is turning into the late evening, or the early evening, I should say. 2 on, nobody out. Paul Bonilla retrieves the bat, or he just does everything for Fort Lee. Pitches, he's the team barber, serving as a bat boy now. And with that, I will take a quick break. Cooper Smith will come out of the game. We'll see a third Westwood pitcher who will deal with Jacob Greenberg with 2 on and nobody out. Don't go anywhere. We are back, playing in between the raindrops here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Westwood leads Fort Lee 8-6. The Bridgemen are threatening. Leadoff walk by Luke Senator. Single by Chris Kim. Now it's Jacob Greenberg. The new pitcher is the old second baseman, Connor Stewart. Third pitcher of the day for Nick Urbanovich, and he deals a called strike. Greenberg didn't love that call. He has not been the biggest fan of the home plate umpire's work so far today. A backwards K his last time up. Greenberg is 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Didn't come close to that one, and he knows it. Now down in the count 0-2. Greenberg's going to have to battle. With 2 on and nobody out, Greenberg, CJ Senator, and then it would be Dorcom's spot in the order. The 0-2 pitch, tapped lightly. Third baseman handles it. The throw is in fact made. Terwilliger stayed on the base. Not the best throw ever from, I believe that is still Saratelli at third. It is still Saratelli at third. But he makes the play, gets the assist. A 5-3 ground out for Jacob Greenberg, and there is one away. The base runners do advance. So 2 runners in scoring position for CJ Senator. 1 for 3 with a double, 2 RBI, and a run scored. And there's a strike. Connor Stewart steps off. Now he's back in there. So weird seeing a pitcher with single digits. Number 1 deals way outside. 1-1 the count on CJ Senator, who now has 7 runs batted in on the season. The tying run is at second base. Called strike. Not much that Senator could do with that pitch. But now he's got a battle, down in the count 1-2. Fort Lee looking to make a comeback and tie this one up here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Called strike 3. That obviously will not help the Bridgemen chances. Stewart registers a backwards K, and now it will be Dorcom. So no longer in the game on the mound, still hitting in his 6th spot in the order. An RBI double his first time up. He is 1 for 3, and he takes a called strike there. Dorcom, now Fort Lee's last hope, at least for a rally here in the 6th inning. They, of course, have 1 more inning to work with, trailing by 2. That is a called strike. Stewart is just filling up the zone. Stewart looking to get out of a jam, similarly to Paul Bonilla in the last half inning. That was his own doing. Here, Stewart came onto the mound with 2 on and nobody out. Those runs are obviously Smith's responsibility. He gave up just 1 run in 4 1/3 innings of work. Grounded, first base, Terwilliger to the pitcher. They got him. Terwilliger strayed way off the bag, and that put the pressure on Stewart to cover first base, which he did. Score that 3-1, and Fort Lee puts the leadoff 2 batters on and does not score. We go to the 7th inning. Westwood 8, Fort Lee 6. We are back for the 7th inning here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Fort Lee trailing Westwood 8-6. And we have a third pitcher for the Bridgemen. It's Chris Kim. He was obviously already in the game as the shortstop. He deals a strike to Gabe Arcieri. 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored today. Fights that one off. On one hop, Stephen Kim. Bad throw. Gets by Sango. That'll be an E4, allowing Arcieri to reach. That's the second error of the game for Stephen Kim. And Arcieri will be at first with Nick Klein batting for the Cardinals. Rain starting to fall. Not hard, but this is the most it's rained all day. Klein is 1 for 3 with an RBI. And I lied, actually. The error was committed by the second baseman, but not Stephen Kim. He's moved to shortstop. That's a bunt. Chris Kim handles it. Goes to second for the lead runner. Did they get him? No, they did not. That's Marrero at second base. So Pete Kraljic has moved his infielders around. It was Marrero who committed the error at second. Stephen Kim moves over from second to short. It was Marrero that Chris Kim threw to. I wouldn't really call that an error. I guess it would just be a fielder's choice without them getting the out. Either way, Klein is on, and there are runners on first and second with nobody out. Westwood looking to add some insurance to what is currently a 2-run lead. The freshman Terwilliger will be the batter. Give you the new infield alignment for the Bridgemen, the full alignment. Third to first, it is now Dorcom, Stephen Kim, Marrero, Sango. So one error committed this inning by Marrero. Chris Kim is on the mound. He is the third Fort Lee pitcher. Chris Kim, a 0 ERA, 2 strikeouts in 1 inning of work. He picked up the save for Fort Lee in their season opening victory against Mawa. This is his first pitching appearance since then. That was on April 2nd, so it's been about 8 days of rest for Chris Kim. He's not facing Terwilliger. The batter he's facing shows bunt, and he didn't pull it back. So it's 0-1. This is David Ismoli, whose name we've already called as a pinch runner. Now he gets the bunt down. Chris Kim handles it. Chris Kim smartly holds onto it, but that's going to be an infield bunt single for Ismoli. So for the second inning in a row, Fort Lee finds themselves in some trouble. Paul Bonilla got out of the bases loaded 1-out jam in the 6th. And now it's a bases loaded no-out jam here in the 7th. The batter will be the new pitcher, Connor Stewart. Fouled off the cage. Stewart 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch and a run scored. He would get credit for a save if Westwood holds on, because when he came into the game in the 6th, it was only a 2-run lead. That pitch is inside. So theoretically, Westwood could score like 7 runs this inning. If Stewart pitches the bottom of the 7th, he would pick up the save. Swing, and I think he got a piece of that one, but it's a strike either way, whether it's foul or not. So a 1-2 count. Obviously, with the bases loaded, Chris Kim would love a strikeout here. Infield is in for Fort Lee. Marrero and Stephen Kim are playing at double play depth up the middle. Chris Kim deals outside. The 2-2 pitch. Just outside. Fort Lee pitching has 1 strikeout today. It was Bonilla's strikeout looking to end the 6th inning. It's a payoff pitch to Stewart. And it's high. That's ball 4. That'll be a walk and an RBI for Connor Stewart, and it's 9-6 Westwood. Arcieri scores. Now it's Jack Walsh hitting. Walsh takes a strike. He's had a perfect day offensively. 3 for 3 with a double, a walk, and a run scored. Luke Senator went to throw. Ball slipped out of his hands, which is unsurprising given the rain. No harm, no foul. I think that was a swing there by Walsh. I think he tried but failed to check his swing. So it's an 0-2 count on Jack Walsh. That's high. Bases remain loaded. Nobody out. Now a 3-run lead for Westwood. The 1-2 is fouled off. Or no, it's not. Fly ball. Oh, wow. I completely misread that one. I lost it in the gray sky. That's a grand slam for Jack Walsh. Remember how I said he was having a perfect day offensively? Now it's a perfect day offensively. 2 doubles, a walk, a single, and now 4 RBI on the grand slam. Also his 2nd run scored of the afternoon, which is now the early evening, and that puts an exclamation mark on this one for Westwood. An 8-6 game at the start of this inning has now turned into a 13-6 affair. Scoring on that home run should be Klein, Ismoli, and Stewart. What a day for the shortstop, Jack Walsh. The full stat line is 4 for 4 with a home run, 2 doubles, 4 RBI, a walk, and 2 runs scored. I believe Walsh also has a stolen base. Chris Kim ahead in the count 1-2 on Ekmekjin. And that pitch is outside, 2-2. Swing and a miss. Ekmekjin goes down on strikes. That is the first time today that he's been retired. He's now 1 for 2 with 3 walks, 1 RBI and 2 runs scored himself. And now in a 7-run game with 1 out, that'll bring up Ceratelli. 0 for 3 with a couple RBI and a walk. That one is fouled off the cage. Called strike makes it 0-2 on Joe Ceratelli. Foul ball. In the bottom of the 7th inning, it is set to be Sango, Marrero, and Lee, 7, 8, 9 in the Bridgemen order. And it's now going to be in at least a 7-run game. Called strike 3. Ceratelli is down looking. Does have a couple RBI, but now 0 for 4 with a walk. And that'll bring up the catcher, Charles Sarlo. He is 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch. And he grounds this one to second. Marrero backhands and makes the play, but the damage is done. The grand slam by Walsh, the big blow. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Fort Lee trailing Westwood by 7. We are back for the bottom of the 7th inning. Fort Lee now finding themselves in a 7-run hole. And it's number 7, Nico Sango, leading things off against Connor Stewart. And Sango takes a ball. Really should be taking a strike here, forcing Westwood to come at you. Obviously, Fort Lee needs base runners, and lots of them. They led this one 6-2. Since then, 11 unanswered runs by Westwood. That one grounded weakly to first base. The flip is made to Stewart, who covered the bag, and there's one away. And that will bring up Jeremiah Marrero. He has played second base and third base today. He swings at the first pitch, taps it to third. Ceratelli, 2 away. And that'll bring up Marcus Lee. The Fort Lee center fielder and number 9 batter is 3 for 3 with a double and a run scored today. First pitch is outside. Again, a 6-2 lead for Fort Lee, and 11 unanswered for Westwood, looking to improve to 3-3 on the season as Lee swings and misses. Both teams will be right back at it tomorrow morning. Another road game for Westwood. They'll be at Northern Highlands. Fort Lee, another home game. They'll be hosting Memorial. Both of those games at 11 a.m. And do tune in because that game will be live streamed here on YouTube. I will have the call of that one. It'll be Memorial High School at Fort Lee at 11 a.m. Looks like the Bridgemen are going to be trying to bounce back from a loss. Tapped, weakly to short. Walsh, fittingly, with the assist on the final out. And the Westwood Cardinals take down the Fort Lee Bridgemen by a little bit of a football score, 13-6. Westwood does improve to 3-3 on the year. Fort Lee sees their 3-game winning streak come to an end. The Bridgemen fall to 4-2. Still 2-0 in division, so in first place in the Big North American Division. Tomorrow, another non-divisional matchup. The Bridgemen will host Memorial High School. Please do tune in for that. Thank you so much for tuning into this one today. Cloudy, rainy Friday afternoon into evening sees the Westwood Cardinals beat the Fort Lee Bridgemen 13-6. Want to thank our proud Fort Lee Bridgemen Athletics sponsors. Want to thank you for tuning in. My name is Tommy Aquilina saying so long for now. See you tomorrow morning, folks.